Hey everybody, back after a couple of weeks. I know I've been really sporadic and bad about doing videos, but whatever. It is what it is. Things have been crazy busy. I just got home from horse show yesterday. It was a long, very rainy weekend, and my lower back has really been bothering me. I think I know why, or at least I think I know what started it. And I'm actually going to talk about that more tomorrow. I'm going to do a video about what's going on with my lower back, or what I believe is going on with my lower back, and how I've been addressing it. But today I'm going to do, as you can see, a book review. And this is a book that I had wanted to read for quite some time and had not gotten around to, and I finally did, and that is Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand, or Ayn Rand, however you pronounce her name. Now, obviously, this is a very famous, influential book. It's a book that I'd always heard of, and always wanted to read, so finally picked it up. I knew nothing about it aside from what I knew a little bit about. I knew that it was, like essentially this, almost, capitalist, free market, Bible almost. Like there's this almost like kind of cult following to her work. And I know that there's a society set up in her name and all of this stuff. And, so I was curious about it because I hadn't read it. Now, first, but either than that, like kind of stuff. And I knew it was about like industrialists and stuff, but that was basically the extent of my knowledge of the book before I read it. And I certainly was not expecting for an almost 1,100 page book to show up. So that was something that I was like a little bit surprised about. I was like, oh, this was going to take me a while. And it did, but it's a really good story. I was really, I was pleasantly surprised. There's a lot of characters, a lot of, nuance. And then there's some things that happen in it that you're like, that almost like come out of left field, and you're like, what? I was just kind of like, what is going on? But I definitely enjoyed it. It's beautifully written. I just love the way she describes, the not really even sure how to say it almost, but it's, it is a story about basically industrialists, the people that make society work, essentially going on strike. And I'll let you read the book to figure out how and why. But just she makes it's almost like she makes industry almost romantic. Like it's interesting. It wasn't what I expected. I expected it to be a lot drier, and it's a really good story. There's love triangles and everything else in it, kind of. And so yeah, I really enjoyed it. If you're curious, and I think it definitely gets a little bit preachy at times, because she's definitely trying to get a point across, and you can tell that in the way some of the characters speak. Like she's definitely trying to get a point across, and it definitely gets a little bit preachy about it in certain spots, especially like one entire chapter of like a lecture. Essentially, there's like two spots where like you basically are lectured on how the free market is the best way to handle basically anything, and centralized government doesn't do anyone any good, and that the people that are smart and running society, essentially, like it's not necessarily a bad thing to be out for yourself, because you're also helping other people while you're trying to make money for yourself, is essentially like her kind of philosophy on the world. You know, there's something to be said for that, but there's also something to be said for doing, you know, charity and things. Which I don't think, like, at least the characters aren't, Caesar, the characters aren't necessarily against, and I don't really know her philosophy on charity, but that the way to move society forward and the way to make things better for everyone is to allow the people that know how to do it to just do it. So instead of trying to control them with government, I think there needs to be, you know, I don't know if I subscribe wholeheartedly entirely to that. I mean, I'm kind of on that, you know, side of things, but there needs to be, you know, you can't just, I think, I'm not sure that I subscribe entirely to that philosophy, but I do think that it has more merit than maybe some other philosophies. So I thought it was really good. I definitely enjoyed it. I probably won't read it again just because it's so big and I have so many other things on my list that I want to read. But it's definitely worth reading once, and also just because it's a very, you know, wonderfully written book. And as I'm reading, you know, books that are written, modern books, I mean, this was written in the 50s, you know, and I've read some books written in the 1800s, you know, like classics from the 1800s and then like 1950s. You realize how much the language has changed and how much how much more it feels like thought was put into what words are actually on the page before, like, the 90s, say. You know, and maybe it's just the type of books that I'm reading from now versus then, but it just seems like the language just isn't what it used to be, and that's something that's missing, I think, in today's literature. And maybe I'm just not reading the right books from today, but you know, I'm getting there. I'm trying to read as much as I can, but it's a struggle with all the other things we have going on. But anyway, I wanted to share that one, Atlas Shrugged. Check it out. And I will be back tomorrow, and I think I'll talk about my my back issues, whatever's going on there. And also, like, we've been doing a ton of work. My husband has been doing a ton of work in the new gym space. It's like getting so close to being to the point where we'll be able to get the equipment in there and start using it. I'm so excited about that. And, you know, we've not done a ton on the farm only because we've been so focused on the gym. But I do want to, I am going to do a video about, you know, the couple things that we have done. So that is that. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, hit the, you know, share it, hit the like button, and subscribe to my channel. And I hope I can, you know, with these videos where I'm sharing what I've been reading, I just, you know, the goal is just to, like, maybe to show people what, you know, open people's eyes to, like, some different literature that maybe they otherwise wouldn't be aware of. So that's kind of the goal with these. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.